The infographic we have here is from Caitlin Tucker, and what I like about this is it answers some of those questions or says this is something that could be asynchronous. It reminds us that reading and taking notes and watching videos are not something we have to do together. Listening to a podcast, we don't have to do that together. That can be an asynchronous activity. Exploring teacher-curated resources such as a playlist allow for that. Engaging in online discussion. The discussion tool in D2L can be really powerful, and we can use that and set up questions for them ahead of time, and the students can answer those questions and interact through written discussion in that D2L tool asynchronously. It doesn't have to be at the same time. They can do practice and review asynchronously. Researching and reflecting are all great asynchronous opportunities. One of the tips and tricks for asynchronous learning is think about what is the essential learning my students are demonstrating and let them know that is the goal for them. That's what we want to see. Having that predictable routine. Keeping the time for the asynchronous activity short. You know, you don't want to say, hey, okay, here's 4 articles, go read for 4 hours. Thinking about having the timing working for them. Keep the tech simple, and as you introduce new tech to the students, teach them the tech. Take time to show them how to use that. Remember that for some of the asynchronous stuff, it's going to be self-paced, and that's rather important that it allows for our students to have enough time to do the different pieces. Giving students a guide to keep them on track. The checklist tool in D2L is really quite wonderful because it can help them to see what they have completed. A agenda within the activity feed works really well for that. Offer choice where it's appropriate. And this one's really important during asynchronous time. Be clear about how and where students can get clarification. Are you the teacher in a meet that they can just pop into and ask their question? Do you want them to email you? Do you want them to hold their questions till a Google Meet later? But being clear about how and where and when they can get clarification is really important so the students know that you're there to support them even when they are there working asynchronously. This is a part of that Caitlin Tucker infographic, and it talks about synchronous learning activities. And the building community and relationships is so key early on. Students can really want to engage in synchronous learning if they feel that they're part of a community, if they've gotten to know their peers, gotten to know you. Some of the things that teachers have talked about doing synchronously to build community, using Jamboard, things like 4 corners or opinion questions that aren't necessarily related to the curriculum, but are built-in things they can do to interact with each other, using the poll tool in Google Meet. Even just building in some informal chat time so that students can talk to each other, including icebreakers in Google Meets or breakout groups. All of those help to build community and relationships and really help to engage our students. When we think about leading interactive modeling sessions during synchronous time, I do it, we do it, you do it. Gives students an opportunity to practice the skills in different ways. Differentiated instruction with small groups. All students don't have to participate in the same small group session, so targeting specific skills or information that specific groups need it. One-to-one coaching, guided practice and application, real-time conversation. That can happen through breakout groups. It can also happen through the discussion feature in D2L. And real-time progress feedback. So chopping into a doc students are working at and providing them feedback in the process. Collaborative docs do a great way of that. It bears repeating that building community will create more engagement in synchronous learning. Taking a few minutes each day can really strengthen those synchronous opportunities. Tips and tricks. Have a specific reason for the synchronous time. What are we learning? What's our goal today? Establish a predictable routine. If you're having class meetings, say you have one at 9 and noon each day, if it's at the same time each day, you'll have bigger buy-in. Keep it short. If it's a long lecture, maybe record it. If it's something that's short, they're able to engage with that more. There's a lot of distractions for some of our students at home. Keep the tech simple. Practice the tech. Also know that sometimes the tech fails and we have to bear with it. Try small groups or breakout groups. Include visuals so that lots of our learners have different access and entry points to our learning. Make it active learning. Get the students involved and doing something during this synchronous time. Give them a guide to keep themselves on track so they know what's happening throughout the lesson. We all know, even as teachers, we like, the agenda for the day, what's happening. Build in social time at the start or end and offer choice where appropriate. Some different synchronous ideas that teachers have tried and worked really well. Slido, it does work great for students to engage in learning and to gauge what they found. In the first session today, I just heard about whiteboard.fi, which allows each student to have their own interactive whiteboard. So if you were a big fan of the non-permanent surfaces, then that could be something that you can use. Jamboard, the poll features. Collaborative slides works really well for group work, having each group having their own slide, and it's an easy way for you to pop in and out. Station rotation can really help blend synchronous and asynchronous work. Small group work, breakout groups, workrooms too. If they're working on something particularly challenging, you can divide them out by their style of work. I like a quiet room. I like to be able to chat with my peers, and leave yourself in a main room and have the students, pop in and out as necessary. A regular office hour can work well, and conferencing about student learning can be a really great way to gauge more understanding. Our synchronous time is a wonderful opportunity for you to gather observations and conversations and not just products. So it's a great time that if we have active learning, that we can pull information about our students' learning and we can record that and we can really build our body of evidence.